So we have 127 days left till 31st December. And let's see, there is a whole conversation about everybody's tells you that you have to be mains ready by December. And I think that's a right call. A very general advice cannot, overemphasize it enough because of the fact that films has become a bit unpredictable. And even if it is not for somebody who's preparing for the first time or giving their first attempts or have failed 2026 prelims examination and appearing for the 2027 for the first time or said the second time, there is a lot of anxiety that creeps in by the end of the December, and whether you want it or not, you are supposed to shift towards the prelims mode from the January, owing to the fact that even you cannot let an elimination round, which is the prelims examination, prevent you from preparing or reaching that goal of mains and getting your name in the the rank list in the end PDF. So I think that's a right call that we should start preparing since January for the prelims examination. But a lot of students, what happens is that when you're doing that, they either prepare in the silos that I was just having this conversation with a student yesterday, and he told me that, ma'am, I've been so much in the prelims mode that right now, if you ask me to write an answer on a simple question as well, I would not be able to structure it. And this is the issue that we try to prepare it in silos. Agreed that there are a lot of ways that somebody would say that a lot of themes are not intersecting with each other in the prelims and mains, but I'm going to dissect that there is a huge overlap between prelims and mains examination. The syllabus, obviously the syllabus itself, the official syllabus is really vague, but is there a way around it? Can we actually bring it out? But through the micro themes, this is what we've been trying to do. And in the tomorrow's webinar, this is exactly what we are going to discuss. So let's say 23rd of May 2027, we have prelims examination, and 20th of August around, we would start with the mains examination. So let's say there are 270 days till that for the prelims, right? But let's, if you want to give yourself deadline, because I feel the deadlines are the only way that you actually perform when everything is at stake, your potential is at maximum. So keeping that in mind, that I don't care whether what happens, I have to start prelims from the January, so I have to be one like that. What does that mean? That I have to be mains ready, my option should be complete. All right, all the main subjects should be complete by December, the note should be ready. But how do you even prepare? Because there are 1,000 topics for mains, right? There are 1,000 questions that have been asked. So how do you even make one pages? How do you create that integrated approach that whatever you're studying, if I give you a prelims paper for that means subject, you're able to answer a lot of questions. And why I'm saying that UPSC is running on the same cycle is that I'll show you through with some questions. So the biggest mistake right now you would be doing is that, and you know that you're doing it, but you just do not know how to come out of it and what is the way around it, is that you're preparing like in silos. Either you're in a prelims mode or in the mains mode. And either way, you will be, pretty anxious, because trust me, when the prelims gets over and you get an idea whether you're clearing or not, you only have 12 weeks to prepare for the mains examination. So in that 12 weeks, you do not have time to prepare notes. You need to have your notes. You should have read or at least attempted test for that. And hence why this idea that you have to be mains ready is important. Now let's see the prelims question for 2026. So there was a question on Article 13, and it was a really long question, application based question. And when you study for mains examination, trust me, if you're studying from the perspective of mains, you start understanding and you try to decipher these questions easily, because mains takes you into that analytical perspective. Prelims always keeps you in the kind of a rote learning phase where you're trying to grasp more facts, and you're stuck in the half of the conceptual depth, and most of it is more rote learning, which it requires, no doubt about it, but it's very subjective depending upon the subject to subject, right? Indexes come, there you have to use your rote learning. But if I ask you about conceptual concepts related to the political theory or related to the geomorphology, there is a mix of both. You need to have an analytical understanding, and that we also see in ethics paper this year. Also, you see a lot of application based question. There were a lot of term based or definition based question that used to come before have been changed into case studies, but this is not the first time that they've done it. They've done it gradually. Okay, so this is a question on Article 13. I'll show you this question. So X was addressing a seminar on the meaning of the term law, which was provided under Article 13, which is a part of Part 3rd of the Constitution of India. And X explained that the meaning of the term law in the Constitution. So it is related to what constitutes the law, and it is part of Part 3rd. This is Part 3rd. What is Part 3rd? Part 3rd is fundamental rights, right? So this is the question that they asked in GS2, right to privacy related to self-identity is very dear to every human being and well protected under Article 21 of the Constitution. In this context, examine the effect of amendment in the 2026 to the Transgender Persons Protection of Rights Act 2019. So now you would see that, okay, like if you're reading only for prelims, would you be able to answer a question like that? This is Article 21, and I'm telling you, I will also show this in the webinar that how this Article 21 has also been asked in the prelims in the past. So there is always an integration, a subtle hint that you get from the UPSC questions, from the PYQs, that you understand that this is something that I should be focusing on. And this question here is not something that you don't know. Right to privacy has been in the news since like a long. For example, to marry the person of your own choice, related to live-in relationship. Recently, there was a right to, have to have a right to a footpath to walk. And this is related to Transgender Persons Protection of Rights Act 2019. This was in news. So this is a common theme. Fundamental rights is a common theme, right? Can you prepare that for both prelims and mains? Yes. If you have complete microthematic analysis and you can segregate that this theme is important for prelims as well and this theme is important for the mains as well, you will study that topic with that required depth. And when I say that for fundamental rights, particularly as a theme, it is very important for the prelims as well, and it is very important for the mains as well, because in fundamental rights only they've asked more than 20 questions in the past for prelims, and around 7 to 8 questions have been in the mains examination. So it gives you an understanding that, what I have to, so this is the number of questions in prelims, and this is the number of questions in mains. So let's make sure that I prepare this theme for both, that even if there are complicated questions in either way, right? Because here they've asked specifically about Transgender Persons Protection of Rights Act 2019. If you would have integrated with prelims and mains, because this would have been also part of the prelims question, so you would have been able to answer this question, at least when it comes to the factual production of the facts in the real answer, अच्छे से कर सकते हो. So this is why having an integrated approach is important. So one micro theme, fundamental rights, both papers, 21 prelims questions जो पूछे हैं इन्होंने, 2007 mains question इन्होंने पूछे हैं, and everything is mapped through the heat map and the prelims micro themes and mains micro themes that I will be discussing. For example, here, this is also a 2026 question, and I can show you previous year questions that actually, solidifies the approach that I need to have an integrated approach to predict something, because the whole idea of dimension analysis is that you should be able to predict something as well on your own, whether you're making notes, whether you're reading newspapers. There are a lot of questions that, a lot of people saying that if you read the newspapers, you would be able to do it. Like IPDMA, there was a question on that related to the quad. So you might read about quad, but would you read about IPDMA? Probably in prelims, yes. You would have read it. There was questions related to Chinook pains, right? You read that for prelims, but they asked in mains. So this is a reflection that you cannot move away from the integrated approach. You have to do it in such a way that you can reproduce that same information and application-based questions, because there is kind of a diffusion. You saw ethics question coming in the prelims as well. So let's see this prelims 2026 question. This is related to scheduled caste and scheduled tribes in India. So it talks about the provisions that is related to the administration of Assam, Meghalaya, Tripura. It also talks about, tribes of India that are entitled to the income tax. The Constitution of India provides reservation of seats in panchayats for women belonging to the scheduled caste and scheduled tribes. And they have asked about the statements, whether which is correct or not. See, this requires you to have an understanding in the depth. But I would tell you that if you go through the heat map and PYQ micro themes that we provide, you will understand that in the past, for the 5 years, they've constantly asked questions from this part. Okay, schedules and scheduled tribes and specific information that requires factual recall have been asked in the prelims examination. And when you read for the mains examination, what really happens is that you go into that depth. When you're reading that, anybody who's written mains would answer this question and ask it yourself, to your mentor, to your teachers, and they will agree that when you're analyzing for the mains micro theme, because it's also micro theme in the mains examination, you will go to the depth. Now, to understand this, what I'm trying to solidify what I'm trying to say is that let's see, does India's tribal development policy reflect the aspirations for a socially grounded and equity-based governance? Justify your answers. When we say that, sometimes you really have to think about the questions, is that prelims had asked which schedules, mains is asking, the question is asking whether this is working or not. Understand this clearly, is that because if this question is asking about, okay, we are giving them income tax exemptions, okay, we are giving them administrative related exemptions, okay, we are specifying that for these tribal areas, we're giving them reservations. This is asking you that we are giving these things, is have we been able to actually produce some good results? And this is an article part. For this, you, if you prepare this and this together, a lot of facts that you read for prelims only can be actually replicated in your mains answer. So understand is that both these micro themes are same, and thinking could be a bit different, but the content could be the same, your approach could be the same. Because if you know those facts, you would know that I can replicate this here. If you know the analytical part, if you're reading it in that depth, because PYQ themes will tell you about this, you will be able to understand that, okay, I need to go into that much depth. This is a kind of a question that UPSC is asking. So there are two things that you have to focus on. That first of all, what are the major micro themes that are collaborating with each other, how to have an integrated approach, but also to identify what are those major subjects from which that collaboration will result, so that I can study and I'm prelims and mains ready by December. All right, I'm not denying the fact that there are subjects where you would not find a lot of questions related to the mains examination. That is applicable to ethics to a great extent. But even if you go through IR, I would say that they asked about quad IPDMA. All right, they asked about BRICS. So you're preparing this anyway for the prelims as well. So you can integrate those topics rather than like going through IR in 100 topics. There are micro themes that are given for prelims as well, mains as well. For mains, you always have 3 to 4 questions fixed. Similarly, for the IR, you have these particular, it's a rising micro theme, especially for prelims, and I'll show you that. So the same theme, only the depth is changing. For example, probably you're going through analytical for one part, and for one part, probably you're going through another way. See here, this is polity and constitution, and I was just taking in an example of IR. So you see, for IR in the past years, they've asked 273, around these many questions they've asked. So it's a kind of a like 152 questions they've asked. Okay. So 152 questions they have asked. That means that I have to make sure that IR is both the themes. So can I do IR before? Can I do that analytical study? Plus, because it needs a lot of factual recall, I would anyway need to revise it again and again. Otherwise, I would not be able to answer those questions, because IR questions are difficult. Environment, ecology, can you do it together? Are there micro themes that are compliant? Can you do science and tech? A lot of micro themes will combine there. For example, they asked a question about genetic medicine in the prelims examination, right? And genetic technology is actually a micro theme, very important micro theme for mains examination. So can you combine those themes? Combining means that you're studying it, probably you're studying it together, in the sense that the facts that you're including in your mains notes, in your one pages, also reflects your prelims preparation. And obviously, if you're part of an integrated approach, for example, if you're part of UAP, the questions that you answer in the prelims test and the mains test, they collide, especially with the Samachar Manthan when it comes to current affairs and the major subjects, that you'll find that collaboration. Now, let's see, this is polity and constitution. This is mains micro theme that I'm showing you. And this is the prelims micro themes from the past years, okay? Here you see also polity and constitution is a huge theme here. Okay, so obviously there are common micro themes. Here you will see governance, 46 questions. Here you will find that science and technology, there are 43 questions. From agriculture, you have 54. And it goes without saying that agriculture is also an important micro theme for the prelims examination. So let's say if I'm preparing for prelims, or if I'm preparing for mains, can I combine those things? Yes, you can. You will feel that probably I need to be a more rigorous in this part till December, but this examination is quite brutal with 0.1% success rate. So you just have one chance. This hard work that you're going to do in this phase where nobody is paying so much attention will actually help you out. Okay. This is a question from prelims. This is application-based question, and this was from conflict of interest. Mr. X is a mid-level civil servant official. During the approval process, she received confidential information indicating that one of the shortlisted contractors had a history of poor workmanship. ठीक है, ये prelims में आया था. ये मेंस की माइक्रो थीम्स है, applied ethics and technology, applied ethics. ठीक है, these are the questions that are the part of the mains. ठीक है, तो एक नया डायमेंशन भी निकल के आ रहा है. इनफैक्ट मेंस का पेपर तो इस बार पूरा ही एप्लीकेशन बेस्ड काफी था. तो व्हाट आई एम ट्राइंग टू एम्फसाइज इज दैट you can and you should be integrating your preparation. एक बहुत सिंपल एग्जांपल है फंडामेंटल राइट जीएस टू आर्टिकल 21 प्राइवेसी सेल्फ आइडेंटिटी 5th एंड 6th शेड्यूल फेडरलिज्म हो गया फेडरलिज्म से गवर्नेंस का एसिमेट्रिकल फेडरलिज्म हो गया किंगडम इन विजयनगर पे क्वेश्चन आया था आर्किटेक्चर पे विजयनगर आप वैसे भी प्रीलिम्स के लिए पढ़ते हो स्टेट्स की रीऑर्गेनाइजेशन आप एनीवे मेंस के लिए पढ़ते हो लिंग्विस्टिक रीऑर्गेनाइजेशन से क्वेश्चंस है डिजिटल पेमेंट रूपी एंड सीबीडीसी पे आया था यू स्टडीड फॉर प्रीलिम्स बेसिकली आई एम टेलिंग यू कि पहले तो क्या हो रहा था कि दैट यू गोइंग थ्रू दिस आइडिया कि प्रीलिम्स जो मेंस होता है उसका अलग होता है प्रीलिम्स के लिए फैक्चुअल होता है बट अगर यूपीएससी करंट अफेयर्स के इतने सारे मेंस के लिए क्वेश्चन पूछ रही है तो अगर आप प्रीलिम्स के टाइम पे पढ़ रहे हो और आप वो थॉट प्रोसेस नहीं लेके चल रहे हो कि मुझे ये क्वेश्चन शायद आ सकता है एंड ऑब्वियसली यू डू नॉट हैव दैट पीवाईक्यू एनालिसिस you will again fall into the trap that a lot of students would have fallen in this mains examination. Tomorrow's webinar, अभी तो मैंने आपको एक रिफ्लेक्शन दिखाया है. I will actually be sharing the exact number of micro themes, what they are, and how to do that dimension analysis for the major subjects. Ethics को कैसे साथ में करना है till December, that will also be shared. Exact plan, how to go about it, किस तरीके से करना है, कहाँ पे करना है, सब कुछ डाइसाइड करेंगे और ऑल्सो विल बी टॉकिंग अबाउट द वन पेजर नोट्स हियर कि एग्जैक्टली अब मुझे अगर इंटीग्रेट करनी है प्रीलिम्स और मेंस की प्रिपरेशन तो मैं वन पेजर नोट्स किस तरीके से बनाऊं टेस्ट कैसे दूं सो दिस इज गोइंग टू बी 127 डेज प्लान प्लस आप आगे प्रीलिम्स में कैसे इंटीग्रेट करोगी मेंस की कॉमन माइक्रो थीम्स किस तरीके से कर सकते हैं एंड ऑल्सो सम थीम्स आर देयर दैट आई विल आइडेंटिफाई क्लियरली फॉर यू कि इसको सिर्फ प्रीलिम्स के पेज में करना इनको बिल्कुल टच मत करो ठीक है और मेंस की ऐसी कौन सी थीम्स हैं जो कि अभी करो क्योंकि उनका प्रीलिम्स के टाइम पे कॉमन कोई कनेक्ट नहीं होगा दैट होल आइडिएशन वो पूरा का पूरा स्ट्रक्चर वेबिनार पे बात करेंगे लिंक्स to register for the webinar will be in the description in the comments ठीक है आप चेक करो and if you have any questions comments में पूछ सकते हो see you tomorrow at 5 p.m. all the very best and this is going to be a really fruitful session for you to integrate it this is something this is completely non-negotiable see you tomorrow all the very best thank you